in the Hillary Clinton investigation so that she did not get indicted. But this is something that seems to be infecting many Democrats, if not all, including Sheila Jackson Lee, who apparently thinks she is the most important person to ever step foot on an airplane. Here's a report from John Bound.
Democratic Representative Sheila Jackson Lee has had a career loaded with grandstanding, half-truths, blanketed racism, and sheer hubris.
And frankly, maybe I should offer a good thanks to the distinguished members of the majority, the Republicans, my chairman, and others, for giving us an opportunity to have a deliberative constitutional discussion that reinforces the sanctity of this nation and how well it is that we have lasted some 400 years.
Signers Hall, where we are right now, has 42 statues showing you the moment of the signing of the U.S. Constitution on September 17th, 1787.
Operating under a Constitution that clearly defines what is constitutional and what is not. He is incompatible with the office and the leadership of this country. And yes, the idea that his continuous assault on women only compounds the fact that I would ask him, it's a job that he does not seemingly like, he needs to resign. This is a disgrace. Stop talking about foolishness. Be a leader and be the commander-in-chief and stop all of this. When are we going to get the kind of leader that is deserving of the American people? I am sick and tired of it. I want a president. I do not want a person is no longer recognized. People are dying. Enough is enough. And don't harm my constituents because I'm calling on troops because they need help. I do that.
Members are reminded to refrain from engaging in personalities toward the president.
I've said the same thing as far as 10 years ago to the German people and to any population of people that is a declining population that isn't willing to have enough babies to reproduce themselves. And I've said to them, you cannot rebuild your civilization with somebody else's babies. You've got to keep your birth rate up. This Western civilization still is a superior civilization.
Congresswoman, what are your thoughts about that?
Casting aspersions on his so-called Western civilization. It is a racist, unbelievable statement that should not come out of the mouth of a member of the United States Congress. I stand here as a freed slave because this Congress came together. Are we going to be able to do it today to free America? I yield back.
Now Lee's lunacy has reached a height that challenges common sense. The Daily Caller reported Jean Marie Simon, 63, accused United Airlines on Twitter of bumping her from a December 18th flight from Houston to Washington, D.C. in order to accommodate Lee. Lee responded with an angry Twitter tirade of her own Tuesday, accusing Simon of targeting her because of her race. Lee wrote, "Since this was not any fault of mine, the way the individual continued to act appeared to be, upon reflection, because I was an African American, seemingly an easy target along with the African American flight attendant who was very, very nice." Simon was on the last leg of her return trip from Guatemala when the incident occurred. In fact, she spent much of the 1980s documenting war crimes there in the wake of a military coup that saw thousands murdered, raped, and starved. She first traveled to Guatemala at the behest of Amnesty International. Simon is designated as a hardline Democrat by the
Well, you just heard it. Sheila Jackson Lee, swamp creature extraordinaire. The louder they scream against Trump, the harder they will fall. Boy, I'll tell you, a little global warming would sound pretty good right now, wouldn't it? It's funny how that works. Al Gore. Can you believe Al Gore was the vice president? I mean, this guy is such a joke. He predicted the polar ice caps would be completely melted by now. How does a man that pathetic become the vice president? Welcome into the Alex Jones Show. Filling in for Alex today, Owen Schroyer, Paul Joseph Watson takes over in the second hour. We got some news out here today. Of course, global, well, not global, but here in America, we're going to have some record low temperatures, it looks like, for New Year's Eve. Al Gore completely embarrassed. He's not choosing to make any statements. You had a building in the Bronx get set on fire or caught on fire yesterday. They're saying it looked like it may have been a child playing with a stove. I started to remember what happened in, I think it was in England when that apartment building burned. It was mostly inhabited by migrants, and it still stands just like a burned building, just standing there, a total eyesore. You've got New Year's Eve security being ramped up because of threats of terror attacks. It's so loving, though. It's so tolerant. You should be tolerant of the open borders that lead to terrorism. What's wrong with you, you racist? But perhaps more shocking than Al Gore being completely wrong with his predictions on global warming, with this building that burned in New York City that I believe they said, 12 dead. Perhaps the Trump derangement syndrome that we thought had reached peak insanity when they were literally screaming at the sky. That was an event for them to protest Trump, screaming at the sky. You caught a little bit of Sheila Jackson Lee doing that in the last segment. But how about this? A protester has decided to protest Trump by going to Disney World and yelling at the robot Trump. This is truly an unprecedented display of insanity. Here is that video of this moron protesting a robot.
That I took an oath. 35 simple words that have been repeated by every American president throughout history. I, Donald John.
Lock him up! Lock him up! Lock him up! Lock him up! Lock him up!
That's our chant for Hillary.
Lock him up! Lock him up! Lock him up!
Notice how no one's joining along.
Lock him up!
When you chanted that in the halls of a Trump rally, the entire halls were ringing with "Lock her up."
Lock him up! Lock him up!
Yeah, lock the robot up, buddy.
Lock him up! 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 Lock him up!
Got to admire the persistence.
Lock him up!
The energy.
Lock him up!
Stamina.
Lock him up!
I guess what this individual lacks in common sense and IQ, he makes up for in stamina. So we give him credit for that. But you know, this is actually a pretty sad story here, folks. Now, I don't know what Sheila Jackson Lee, I don't know what her deal is. Is she a swamp creature that's freaked out because of the things that Trump is doing behind the scenes? Does she have her own crimes that she's hoping don't get exposed? Or is she truly just another one of these complete bumbling morons suffering from Trump derangement syndrome? It's really sad. It's really sad that this is what the propaganda news has done to individuals. It's really sad that people's souls are so sucked that they ignore all the evidence in front of their face and instead go with their emotions that are triggered by fake news. And so this individual, so brainwashed, so soul-sucked, goes to Disney World to yell at a Trump robot. You can't make this stuff up. And I really don't know what you do with a person like that. Insane asylum? Mental institution? You know, we shut a lot of those down in the 90s. Maybe it's time to reopen some of these mental institutions. If you're going to Disney World to shout at a robot, maybe there's something wrong with you. If you're Sheila Jackson Lee and you want to make a big scene of yourself on the floor of Congress, and you want to make a big scene of yourself on an airplane because of your hubris, maybe there's something wrong with you. We've reached a lot of turning points in 2017. A lot of things where the genie can't be put back in the bottle. And I think another one of the things that we're going to see here in 2018 is just the continued of the Trump derangement syndrome, but perhaps even peak insanity levels, especially if Republicans gain seats in Congress in the 2018 midterms. Because just like these poor, soul-sucked, brainwashed zombies thought Hillary Clinton was going to win, and thus they freaked out, they threw temper tantrums, they cried, they screamed at the sky, they still protest Trump, they believe fake news like Russian collusion. Just like all of that, because of fake news saying Hillary Clinton was going to win, the same fake news is going to tell them that the Democrats are going to take Congress. The Democrats are going to sweep the 2018 midterm elections, and then their hopes are going to be blown back up that when they take Congress, they can impeach Trump. And when that fails, and when they're faced with the second harsh reality that everything they believed in was a lie, what are they going to do then? We've already seen Antifa get violent. We've already seen Black Lives Matter chant to kill police. What are they going to do next? And what is it going to take for the police, or again, I'm not kidding, maybe we need to reopen mental institutions. You see, there's a weird thing you can do with an individual who thinks that they're invincible. For example, look at food stamps. We've been talking about all these people on food stamps that feel totally entitled to food stamps. They feel like their family is your responsibility. How dare you expect me to care for my family? I need my food stamps. Just give me my food stamps. We played the clips over and over and over. You've seen the stories of someone's food stamps getting denied at the grocery store, and then they tear the grocery store apart. There's always something you can do to stop someone that feels invincible without actually having to do anything. This is all you got to do to stop that. You want to get food stamps? You're going to get drug tested. How much do you want to bet half of food stamp recipients would no longer receive food stamps? Either A, because they failed a drug test, or B, because they don't want to take a drug test. So it's the same type of situation. If you're going to go to Disneyland or Disney World and yell at a Trump robot and cause a scene, maybe it's time to lock you away in a rubber room for 24 hours. You start doing that, all of a sudden the Trump derangement syndrome will disappear. I just don't see how it gets any better, because 2018 is going to be another year of nothing but defeat for these people. They're going to be defeated in Congress. They're going to be defeated in the culture war. They're going to be defeated in the information war. And I guess it's bad that Trump cut our taxes. I guess it's bad that the stock market is reaching records. I guess it's all bad. Why would you want to get on the winning team? Why don't you just continue to hate America? Because to you, that's the winning team, even though you keep losing. No, we're not done with the liberal lunacy quite yet. A man yelling at a robot? That's just the beginning. Students support new Pocahontas policy. I wonder if that's named after Elizabeth Warren, allowing applicants to self-identify as people of color. Who comes up with this stuff? You ever wondered that? Whose brainchild is that? So I'm going to just go ahead and say today on air that I am a Zimbabwean transsexual. So welcome to the Alex Jones Show. My name is Owen Schroyer. I am a Zimbabwean transsexual hosting the show today for Alex. And this is just part of the new Pocahontas policy here at INFOWARS, where you can identify as whatever you want. If you want to be a green badger, if you want to be an orange pumpkin, whatever it is, you just identify as that, and then therefore you are because, well, your feelings. But no, this is a serious thing at Brown University. Applicants will have the opportunity to self-identify as people of color during the application process. So again, I'm thinking that this is directly, we should call this the Elizabeth Warren policy, but the Pocahontas policy is just fine too. But here's the clip from Campus Reform talking to the students about this policy.
I'm Cabot Phillips with Campus Reform. Today we're at Brown University, where a new policy was enacted giving students the ability to self-identify as people of color on their application process. What do students think of this new policy? Let's find out. This school is giving students the chance to self-identify, in their words, as whether they feel as if they're a person of color on the application process. Some people are calling this the Pocahontas policy because students can simply check something that they don't apply to. What do you think? You think it's a good thing or a bad thing?
Overall, I think it's a good thing.
I think this is a positive aspect. It's intended to create an atmosphere of inclusion and support diversity, and I don't see anything wrong with that. Including that would be a really great move.
Hold on. Pause it. This is like, think about it like this. You've got all of these people at universities that will protest, a Milo Yiannopoulos speech or a Ben Shapiro speech or whoever's speaking on these campuses, and they get violent. Lucien Wintret, from the Gateway Pundit, they take his speech from him. So you got all of these crazy liberals out there that want to protest free speech, and I'm wondering if they would still agree with this policy if Milo Yiannopoulos showed up and said he was black and he self-identifies as black, and then when they protested him, he'd say, hey, you are all racists against black people. I wonder how that would go if you turned the worm on them like that. But see, here's their problem. They don't even have two-dimensional thinking. They have one-dimensional thinking. Fully one-dimensional thinking. Hey, we're going to say that you can identify as whoever you want on your application because of tolerance. Oh, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. Yeah, it's loving, it's good. And let's go back to the video. Here they are. Here's the actual morons that believe that.
But he identifies as something it should be their right to.
I think it would generally be a positive thing.
And people should be granted all the options that they feel necessary to express themselves in that way.
If the goal is student comfort and attracting a more diverse student body, then I don't see it as particularly harmful.
I feel weird talking about this as not a person of color.
But you could feel like one, though.
Yeah. See, exactly. No, pause right there. Rewind it. Oh, this is the perfect thing. I love it when this happens. I have this happen to me all the time when I'm out interviewing these brain-dead liberals, where some of them may actually have the ability to begin the process of second-dimensional thinking, but they've never actually been challenged to go to that level. There's a specific video where I'm talking to a guy here in Austin, and I forget what I asked him, and I put the mic in front of his face, and he's like, whoa, that's true. Like, how did you, what? That's what happened to this guy. He's like, yeah, you should be able to identify as whatever you want, but, it's kind of weird for me as someone that's not a person of color to be saying that. And so then the guy asking the question says, well, maybe you are a person of color. Do you feel like it? And then he's like, oh. So watch this again. This is the moment. These are beautiful moments. For the first time, this guy is at Brown University. Supposedly, these are bastions of higher learning. And this guy has never been challenged enough to kick in to a second-dimensional gear of thinking. For the first time in his life, probably, this guy from Campus Reform kicks this guy's thought process into second gear, and he freezes. Watch this.
You're talking about this as not a person of color.
What if you feel like one, though?
There it is. He doesn't know what to do. That's it. He's trying to go into second gear, and he can't do it. He's never done it before. He's at a university. He's at Brown University, supposedly higher learning, high education, and he's never been so challenged that he's had to go into second gear of thinking. This is so gold. I'm telling you, everything. I just want these liberals to understand, man, we're not your enemy. We're really not your enemy, man, okay? We're not racists. We're not bigots. We don't hate people. We're just trying to get you to wake up. That's all. And I know it might be hard and it might be uncomfortable for you to actually have to think beyond your feelings and to kick into second gear and have critical thought. but I promise you it is worth it in the end. Just play this gold for me one more time. I'm telling you, these students, these young liberals, have never been challenged at their universities to actually go into critical thinking and to go into second dimensional thinking, because it's all about their feelings. It's all about liberalism and tolerance and not offending anybody and not having differing opinions because that might offend somebody. And then here this student is, a campus reform reporter who's not even a professor at the university, for the first time ever causes his mind to go into second gear. One more time, watch this poor brainwashed student for the first time in his life have to kick his thought process into second gear.
I feel weird talking about this as not a person of color. What
if you feel like one, though?
Brain freeze.
If the school came to someone who falsely claimed to be a person of color and said, you're not, what if the person has said, I am, I identify that way? I mean...
Here it is again. It's happening. This is incredible.
To change my ethnicity.
Okay, but why is it different than gender?
Oh, wow. You know, that's a really good question. I think it's intended for those people that,
I love this so
want
much.
to identify as a person of color or whatever it may be.
Is racial identity something that is fluid over someone's life?
I'm losing it here.
I feel like people tend not to try and make up their identity. I feel like something that people themselves know better than people who don't know them, and something that society likes to put on them.
I think that gender is something that is inside of you and that you feel, whereas ethnicity
listen to these people.
Culture and heritage and tradition.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not sure. Am I a male or a female? Let me check. Let me check real quick.
I think it's important.
Well, it looks like I'm a male, but I'm feeling like a female today. So I'm a Zimbabwean transsexual dog hosting the Alex Jones Show today because of my feelings. That's how I feel. What? Owen Schroyer filling in for Alex Jones today, and you may or may not be able to notice, but I'm a bit under the weather today, and I'm telling you, if it wasn't for InfoWarsStore.com and the products there that I'm taking, I would not be able to get on air today. Specifically, what I'm taking to get on air today: vitamin mineral fusion, chugging colloidal silver, way more than you should. I'm not recommending you do that. Vitamin B12. So, I mean, if it wasn't for Brain Force, Brain Force, if it wasn't for just the combination of products at InfoWarsStore.com, I don't even think I'd be able to get on air today, just because just the allergies are just so bad down here. And it's just crazy right now. And then there's winter because global warming isn't working. I'm a little ticked off. I'm kind of a fan of global warming, to be honest. But if you haven't tried the products at InfoWarsStore.com, I'm not sure what you're waiting for. Just go look at all the reviews. Don't take my word for it. Go and look at all the reviews that we have at InfoWarsStore.com, and you can see for yourself what people are saying. Now, right now, we have some specials running. Silver Bullet, 67% off. I'd get a case of that. That's an unbeatable deal. Brain Force is still half off, 50% off Brain Force Plus. Our new product, Alpha Power, is 50% off. And I actually had a couple people tell me that they took the Alpha Power and they got nauseous. What I would suggest, if that is happening to you, is don't take it on an empty stomach, because there's a lot of supplements out there that if you take them on an empty stomach, they will make you feel nauseous if your body is not acclimated to certain nutrients getting in there, getting into your gut. So if you are experiencing that, I would suggest not taking them on an empty stomach. But just know this, that's because they work. These products are no joke. So 50% off Alpha Power right now. And you've also got the Gut Pack, the New Year's Gut Pack right now. That's Myco ZX plus Floralife, 50% off. So if you're somebody that struggles with digestive health, or you have a gluten intolerance or something along those lines, this is a great special for you. The Myco ZX Floralife combo at 50% off. Now, if you get just the Myco ZX, that's 25% off. If you get just the Floralife, I think that was 33% off. But if you get both of them combined, that is 50% off. That's the New Year's Gut Pack special Myco ZX and Floor Life 50% off. But, you know, one product that I'm trying to get far and wide with my friends and family is Super Blue toothpaste, because once you go Super Blue, you're never going back. And this is something that is a household item. Everybody needs toothpaste. Everybody uses toothpaste. Why not shop at InfoWarsStore.com? It's just like the other day I ran out of hand soap, and I'm thinking, oh, I need to go get some hand soap from the store. And then I remember, wait a second, we've got Emmerich's Essentials. Emmerich's Essentials at InfoWarsStore.com. All natural household products like shampoo, body wash, mouthwash, etc. It's all available at InfoWarsStore.com. So before you go shopping for your next list of groceries, check out InfoWarsStore.com, and I'll bet you find something on there that's a household item that you always need and you always use. And now you can shop with us and the good guys, fund this, help us grow, and support the InfoWar. And you know, Alex pays it forward, builds new studios, hires more staff, gets more live broadcasts, does more live broadcasts. So that's what happens when you support us at InfoWarsStore.com. They're going through Emmerich's Essentials. Look at all these essential oils they have. I know people that are really into essential oils, so why not go to InfoWarsStore.com and check out some of our essential oils. And again, don't take my word for it. Go to the InfoWarsStore.com. Look at the reviews for Brain Force Plus. Look at the reviews for Super Male Vitality. Look at the reviews for Silver Bullet, and you will see that these products are no joke, and they truly do work. Okay, in the last segment, we played the campus reform video where students at Brown University are looking at a new policy where they're calling it the Pocahontas policy. I think they're naming it after Elizabeth Warren, where you can just identify as whatever you want. So if you want to identify on your application as a Native American, like Elizabeth Warren did when she lied about it, then that's okay now. Which, again, this shows you how they don't have a second dimension of thinking, how they can't kick their thinking into second gear, because these are the same people that want to virtue signal all day long for minorities, virtue signal all day long to try to give them more benefits, and if you're white, you know, take a back seat. But they don't even understand. I mean, it's sad. They don't even have the second level of critical thinking to realize that this policy completely destroys their liberal policies catered to minorities where they get all the advantages. Because now if anyone can claim to be a minority, then nobody's a minority. But they don't get that. And what I was breaking down that I thought was so powerful, and then it actually happened again and again and again, and I was focusing on the first guy, but this is so illustrative. And I really want people that disagree with InfoWars, that think we're nuts, that hate Trump, that are these indoctrinated liberals, you really believe in a utopia. Again, we're not your enemy. I'm not attacking you. I'm just calling it as I see it. And I want to go back to this video that I shot in Austin, Texas. Actually, Harrison was my cameraman that day. Trump came to town to address Hurricane Harvey here. And I ran into an individual who was protesting Trump, and I asked him a couple questions, and you saw the exact same thing. So what I want liberals out there that see this, I just want you to recognize something here. I'm not your enemy. We're not your enemy. We want to help you. You have a serious brainwashing problem. You have a serious issue of Stockholm Syndrome. You really have mental issues. We really care about you. I'm not trying to insult you. This is not me being mean. And just to prove what I'm talking about, let's roll this clip of the man protesting Trump that I forced to think critically, who had a total brain freeze.
All right, come on. Hey, we found this man will talk to us, so why should Trump be impeached?
Because he's lied 1,000 times on record.
What does he lie about?
Should we look it up on his phone?
No, he's recording right now. But you're the one saying impeach the president. Yeah, because you're the one who wants to impeach him.
I mean, I can't impeach him myself.
But you're out here with the impeach Trump crowd.
Yeah, I would love to advance an impeachment agenda.
You see this? Pause right here. You see this? This is the individual who's never been challenged to go to the second degree of thinking here. First time being challenged and starting to go there. Let's watch the rest.
Why?
Because we got a liar.
I know, so it keeps coming back. So what did he lie about?
Let's look this up.
Okay.
Now he goes
but
to his
you're out
phone.
here protesting. You shouldn't have to look it up. You know, you should already know your cause, don't you think?
You're probably, right in some way, shape,
I mean,
or
if you have to look it up, it must not be that important to you, you know?
This sounds like a leading question.
I'll tell you what, I'll let you do some research and we'll come back. How about that?
There he goes.
No problem. Hey, thank you for talking.
So look,
I already tried to talk to you.
So that's enough, guys. So, but there's this, and I understand why, because we come on here, we call them libtards, but folks, what is the future of an individual like that individual, or an individual like we saw in the campus reform video, that can't even critically think? Yeah, look at his face. I'm not insulting this individual, but look at that face. That is the face of a man who, for the first time ever, has been challenged to think beyond his own feelings. And he realizes it, and he goes, wow, yeah, you're probably right. But think about it. What is the future of an individual who cannot think past 1 degree of thought process? What is the future of an individual who cannot think past their feelings? And beyond that, what is the future of a country? What is the future of a school? What is the future of a group of people that cannot think past first dimensional thinking? What is the future for them? Not good. Slavery. That's how you get tricked into slavery right there. All right, let's look at some of this news that we have here today. You've got a rare intersex shark, the first of its kind. So, yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of rare. The only one. Pretty rare. But this is probably a conspiracy theory like the gay frogs, and the atrazine probably doesn't exist. But now, for the first time ever, a intersex shark has been found with male and female reproductive systems. I'm sure that has nothing to do with the chemicals that we've intoxicated our planet with. Sure, it has nothing to do with that at all. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see with the gay frogs either. This is a story in the New York Times today. The year the news accelerated to Trump speed. It really is mind-boggling. Everything that got exposed in Trump's first year in office. It's almost impossible to sit here and try to name it all, and that's because it was breaking all the time. I mean, just look at everything that was exposed with Barack Obama. Look at everything that was exposed with Hillary Clinton. Look at everything that was exposed with the FBI. Look at everything that was exposed with the Me Too movement. It's really quite incredible. Meanwhile, half of abducted Iraqi Yazidi girls remain in ISIS captivity and sex slavery. Thousands of kidnapped girls forgotten in hell.
And that was the liberal Arab Spring.
And this was also a result of what Hillary Clinton's policy in Libya did, where they have slaves now. But we're the racists because we call it out.
And that's a great point. In fact, I was going to probably pop in on the show today about that. That's why I came in here when I saw you were covering it. And just the whole fact, like the New York Times admits, news at Trump speed. We are taking control of the narrative. Not just Trump, all of us, by what we want to break, what we want to focus on, not letting the globalists set the subjects anymore. Their back is broken in 2017. Now, the big war is in 2018 with the floundering remnants of the globalist.
I completely agree. And they can't keep up, and that's why they're failing. See, there is no one at the New York Times that could actually write a story where they have to do some serious soul searching and say, wow, maybe all those negative stories we wrote about Trump were inaccurate, considering none of them really caught any headwinds. Meanwhile, look at all the momentum going against Robert Mueller right now, how it's been discovered that whole thing was a witch hunt beyond a witch hunt, and that the same FBI agents that were trying to rig the election for Hillary Clinton, look at James Comey, look at Peter Strzok, are the same people that are now behind the Trump-Russia probe. Oh, but I'm sure that there is no bias there. But look at this victory for Trump. China offers tax incentives to persuade U.S. companies to stay. Folks, there is a geopolitical climate change happening right now. And you have to understand that what Trump did when he cut the corporate tax rate to 20% is he basically just kicked China in the groin. Because now China does not have a stranglehold on manufacturing companies coming in. So now all of a sudden, America gets this new boost to their economy. America gets this new boost of manufacturing companies wanting to come and do business in America. And that breaks China's will to dominate that sector, which is what they wanted. And so now all of a sudden, with this whole North Korea thing, China doesn't have as much power to wield as they had before when they could just dominate that and take all the manufacturing. But see, this is what the Democrats don't understand. But maybe they do understand, and perhaps they just want China to have the booming economy. They don't want the United States to have a 3% GDP growth every year. And in fact, I truly believe we will see, I mean, barring something catastrophic, we will see probably a 4, if not a 5% GDP growth within 1 quarter of Donald Trump's first 4 years in office. And I really believe that. And that's what you do to build your country back up. If you're an enemy of a country, what do? You attack their energy sector. You try to destroy their energy supply. Look at what Obama did to coal. Trump reverses that, brings coal back, GDP shoots back up. China's back's against the wall now. So, but I know that this is too complicated for the average, honestly, probably just the average person, but the average liberal has no idea. They couldn't even probably find China on a map, if you want to be perfectly honest. But then you have this story. Could the Dow hit 25,000 before 2018? It's flirting with it. I think right now it's at like 24,700, maybe. I'm not sure what it currently stands at. According to this story published this morning, it was at 24,800. Well, wow. President Trump, man, you know, he's not perfect. I'm not going to sit here and fanboy over Trump, but I mean, my goodness. Can you imagine if Hillary Clinton would have been president? I can't even imagine. I cannot even imagine. And you know, if Hillary Clinton would have won, none of this Weinstein Gate would have happened at all. None of it. Zero. Weinstein Gate would have never happened. Hollywood would have never been exposed. Because every tactic that they use to try to take down Trump, whether it be this Russian probe that's now been exposed as totally biased, and now even beyond bias with what appears to be traitors inside the government, you've got this Weinstein Gate where Hollywood gets exposed as a bastion of sexual deviancy and sexual assault. And, you know, you've got some people calling it both ways, like, yeah, okay, these powerful men in Hollywood were probably inappropriately abusing women, but at the same time, there were women in Hollywood that were glad to put themselves out there for a role or for career advancement. So it goes a little both ways, but this was the battle they chose because they thought it would come back and land on Trump, which it's not. It's not sticking. So again, they're just exposing themselves. A powerful person has been accused of misconduct at a rate of once every 20 hours since Weinstein. And not to politicize this, but just to call it as it is, 90% of these people are good liberals. 90% of these people hang out in the same circle of friends as Bill and Hillary Clinton. A lot of these people are even donating to Bill and Hillary Clinton's campaigns, Obama's campaigns, getting praised by the Obamas for how good they are, getting praised by the Michael Moores for how good they are. Oh, then they get exposed as sexual assaulters. Never would have happened if it wasn't for President Trump. So just remember, before you want to blame Trump of whatever it is you're going to try to blame him of, you're probably the guilty party, and it's going to come back on you, Sheila Jackson Lee. You might want to get out of office before you have a hard fall. Now, this story actually broke yesterday. Date set for Trump's first physical exam as president. I have a feeling that when we get these results, the physical exam is on January 12th. I don't know when they'll make it public. I have a feeling that these results are going to trigger the liberals so hard. Now, this is actually going to be interesting because you know that they're going to try to spin this and say he's unfit, try to invoke the 25th Amendment, say he's unhealthy, he can't handle it. That's going to be the spin. And then if they release the reports and he's fully healthy, healthiest president ever, what are they going to do then? So this is just another liberal breakdown waiting to happen here when Trump's health is announced. Because honestly, I don't know how Trump does it. I don't know how Trump works so hard. I don't know how he sleeps 4 hours a day and is still able to do everything he does. It's really quite shocking to me. I could never do it. And I'm 28 years old. I couldn't imagine a 71-year-old man sleeping 4 hours a day and working his ass off. But then again, as far as I know, this is the only president of the United States that's sober. I've never heard of a president that never drank alcohol or never touched any drugs. Obama used to brag about that stuff. So, you know, maybe that has something to do with it. He's never intoxicated himself with drugs or alcohol. But that's just incredible, and I'm expecting that physical to be sterling and for the liberals to actually freak out as the mainstream fake news spin is he's unfit, he's unhealthy, he can't make it, we need to invoke the 25th. Then the health report comes out, oh, President Trump is one of the most healthy 71-year-olds probably walking planet Earth. Paul Joseph Watson takes over on the other side.